I have a question for all of the black feminists out there who wrote the hit pieces to take down the movie King Richard. Where were you when a 19-year-old girl was being exploited by two white racists on the Ghetto Gaggers website? And where were you when this girl was on World Star Hip Hop bragging about being exploited by these two white men? Now available in paperback and e-readers, E-Steam Cancel Vacation. Hell's aspiring angel takes on a social justice, social media mob looking to cancel her in this all-new E-Steam series adventure. Get E-Steam Cancel Vacation in paperback and e-readers today. Last Friday, the film King Richard premiered, and just as the film starring Will Smith portraying Richard Williams, the father of tennis superstars Venus and Serena Williams, premiered, black feminists began a campaign to sabotage the film's ability to perform at the box office. Now, this is nothing new for your black feminists who waged a similar campaign a couple of years ago against your Nate Parker when he went out to premiere his film, Birth of a Nation. And I can also remember another film created by another black male filmmaker, which also had to deal with a campaign developed by black feminists to try to sabotage the film before it could go out here and premiere at the box office, and hampered its success. Now, these black feminists, what they do in these campaigns is they go out here, and when they hear about a film that features a positive portrayal of a heterosexual black man, what they want to do is develop a campaign to try to malign the image of either the director, the producers, or the person who is starring in the film, or in this case, the story of the man who is being featured in the story. Now, what these black feminists wanted to do in order to sabotage this film was they went out here digging up old stories about Richard Williams' past in an effort to try to demonize his image. So what these black feminists went out here and did was write a series of hit pieces that are disguised as articles in an effort to try to dissuade black audiences from going out to see the film. Now, because of these black feminists, sadly, your King Richard did not perform well at the box office, and sadly, it did not do well at all. Now, what these black feminists want to do with these campaigns is what they want to try to prevent people from seeing positive images of black heterosexual men in media. And the reason why they don't want you to see positive images of heterosexual black men in media is because these women have an agenda that they want to push, and that agenda is a misandristic, hating of black men agenda. And sadly, because many in the black community have serious father issues, they go out here and buy into the rhetoric created by these black feminists, not understanding that the film King Richard was designed to go out here and present a story of how a black father went out here and raised his daughters to become the greatest tennis players of the 20th century and the 21st century, winning multiple Grand Slam championships. And the film King Richard was about how a father's leadership was the difference between his daughters being successes and his daughters being failures. Now, your Richard Williams came from a part of Louisiana where he had to deal with lots of white supremacy and racism, and he moved his daughters to Compton, one of the roughest places in LA. And even in spite of coming from two different really rough areas, he went out here and shaped and molded his daughters' success. And that is something that I believe needs to be celebrated. And your Venus and Serena Williams also believe this as well, because they were the ones who financed this film And they were the ones who went out of their way to try to honor their father the way the Bible says, by going out here and presenting this film of how this great man went out here and put in the hard work and sacrifices to help his daughters turn out to be great successes. But your black feminists don't want you to see stories about black fathers. And one of the reasons I believe they don't want you to see stories about black fathers is because many of these black feminists have serious daddy issues, and because they have not resolved their issues with their fathers, they want to project those issues onto all black men, and they want to demonize black men and make them some sort of boogeyman. Now, I find it interesting that your black feminists have no problem with a piece of media like Alice Walker's The Color Purple, which demonizes black men, and will go out here and push that media. Moreover, your mainstream media will go out here and promote said media that demonizes heterosexual black men and presents them as brutes and sexual deviants. But they won't go out here and promote a film that presents an inspiring and uplifting image of heterosexual black men and presents an image of a strong black father going out here and leading his daughters to success. Now, the reason why I don't believe they support any sort of black father is because they didn't have a father in their life, and because they didn't have a father in their life, they want to make everybody as miserable as they are, and they want to promote this narrative that black men are not good fathers and not good leaders. Now, I have a critical question for all of those black feminists out there who were sitting there typing at the keyboard to go after the movie King Richard. Where were you 2 weeks ago when a 19-year-old girl was on World Star Hip Hop being turned out by those racists on Ghetto Gaggers? That's a critical question I want to ask all of those black feminists out there who say that they're all about empowering black women and helping young black girls. Where were you when this 19-year-old girl was disowned by her grandmother for participating in a pornographic film where some white racists were out here calling her the N-word, slapping her, and making her vomit and sit in her own filth? Where were the black feminists to go out here and type up the hit pieces against Ghetto Gaggers? Where were the black feminists to go out here and take this young 19-year-old girl under their wing and try to teach her that participating in this type of pornography that is designed to degrade you is something that promotes self-hatred? Where were the black feminists in the case of this 19-year-old young lady who was out here bragging about these men from Ghetto Gaggers exploiting her and celebrating the fact that these men went out here and got her an Uber to drive her all the way to their set and then drive her back? Where were the black feminists to tell that young woman that these white men were exploiting her? Where were the black feminists to go out here and sit down with this 19-year-old girl and try to talk some sense into her so that she would not be taken advantage of? I find it interesting that your black feminists can go out here and sit at a keyboard in front of a laptop and write up an article to trash a movie that elevates one of the greatest black fathers of the 20th century, Richard Williams, a man who we should call a king because he went out here and did the work of a king, raising his daughters to become great ladies and teaching them what they needed to know in order to be the queens of the tennis court. I find it interesting that your black feminists, they have a problem with even the title of this movie, King Richard, and the elevation of a black man to a high position, but they aren't upset about a 19-year-old girl going on World Star Hip Hop to brag about how she's gone out here and participated in Ghetto Gaggers, and they aren't saying a single word about this 19-year-old girl who has been disowned by her grandmother. I find it interesting these black feminists ain't got a word to say about a fellow sister who is been exploited by these white men who go out here and have this girl calling her an N-word, calling her a B, calling her an H, and slapping her and sticking their private parts in places in a very degrading and humiliating way, in humiliating sexual acts. I find it interesting that your black feminist is silent about this 19-year-old girl who got on World Star Hip Hop and bragged about this in a video. A girl who showed that she desperately needed a father to meet her emotional needs, because a girl without a father, what she does is she looks for love and attention from other men, and that's how this 19-year-old girl became the target of those predators on Ghetto Gaggers, and was so caught up in just having the attention of these white men that she was practically ecstatic about the whole idea of some white men getting her an Uber just so that they could go out here and sexually abuse her and then record it on video. I find it really sad that your black feminists who say they are all about the empowerment of black women haven't had a single word to say about this 19-year-old girl, but they can go out here and try to destroy the film King Richard, a film that would have helped a lot of young black girls get some perspective on the positive example of black fatherhood, a positive example of black manhood, and a positive example of black masculinity. And they did this all because of their issues with the father who walked out on them. And yes, they can talk about how Richard Williams walked out on a family, but these women have no perspective on what leads to this kind of situation. Now, when I was writing my novel Isis, I wanted to give girls the perspective on what happens with fathers in some cases and why they do sometimes leave a family. And a lot of times people don't want to talk about how some mothers go out here and drive the father away. Sometimes the father wants to be in the picture, but because the mother has insecurities about the relationship, she drives the father away, and the father cannot be there to shape and mold those daughters' lives and help them become healthy women. And sometimes because the mother wants to go out here and in some cases does not trust that father to be that leader and be that authority figure, the father can't come in and set up his family the way he wants, because this woman is enabled by the state and the welfare system, which makes it where she does not have to submit to that father's leadership and authority. And because of that, that father can't come in and teach his children the way he wants to teach. And sometimes this mother, what she will do, because she has serious issues with herself, she won't let that father come in and be the man he wants to be. So a lot of those people who want to sit there and talk about Richard Williams wasn't there for certain children, you don't know the story between Richard Williams and that mother, and you also don't know the story between Richard Williams' kids' mother and themselves, because sometimes the mother will sit there and teach the children against the father, and what that will do is demonize his image in front of his children. And because those children learn not to trust their father, they cannot go out here and connect with that father and bond with that father the way they want to. And some kids don't ever figure this out until they get older, and then they go out here and talk to that man themselves, and then they find out that a lot of the things that they were told about their father were lies, and then they find out that this man was not who the mother said she was, and that's what happens to a lot of those kids. They find out a completely different story about that man, and while Venus and Serena got that guidance because the mother went out here and let him be a father, maybe that other woman did not let Richard Williams come in and be able to go out here and teach and prepare those kids on what they needed to know. Because a lot of times it's the mother who shapes the girl and the boy, because she is the first teacher, and as the first teacher, she teaches those kids to mistrust their father. They don't get that guidance from that man in order to be able to go out here and be able to focus on things and be able to aspire to be better. Because a father, when he's in the home or he's even around the kids, he encourages kids to do better. He motivates kids to go out here and do their best. And if he cannot be in the home to do what he needs to do, then maybe a lot of kids need to look at their mother and stop listening to propaganda from black feminists, because your black feminist, she has serious father issues, and because she hates her father, she wants you to hate heterosexual black men, and because she wants you to hate heterosexual black men, this is why she sits there writing these hit pieces against your heterosexual black men like Richard Williams, who are striving for excellence and should be honored, instead of going out here and fighting against white racists who exploit our young sisters on sites like Ghetto Gaggers. Because if black feminists were truly about fighting for young black girls, they would have fought for that 19-year-old girl who was out here bragging proudly about being on Ghetto Gaggers and telling the world that this young woman is participating in self-hatred, degrading her image, and then pulling that young sister aside and letting her know that this is not the way. But your black feminist is a white supremacist, and that's why she is silent on Ghetto Gaggers and wants to tear down a film like King Richard, and she wants to tear down black fathers and the image of heterosexual black men, because she hates them all, and she wants to destroy every heterosexual black man who presents a positive image of black manhood and black masculinity, because she cannot stand the idea of a positive image of a black man, because she never had a positive experience with the first man in her life, her father. And that's why they wage these campaigns against films like your King Richard, Your Birth of a Nation, and many other black films by black producers. And I believe they would probably even come after me, a black writer, and some of them have, when I wrote the classic blog, Why Real Men Avoid Single Mothers. But black men, we have to stand firm, we have to hold in there, because this is about the image of our community, this is about the image of our family, this is about the image of our people, and as the leaders of the community, we have to continue pushing the truth about black fathers, the truth about heterosexual black men. We are not the brutes, we are not the sexual deviants, we are leaders, we are heads, and as heads, we are following God in trying to build our communities, build our families, and build stronger relationships in our community. And black fathers are essential to things, and while the media wants to go out here and push the narrative that the black father is absent, the black father is incompetent, that's white supremacy trying to create division in the black community, and it's not true at all. There are lots of black fathers out there taking care of their business, like Richard Williams was, and there are lots of black fathers out there helping shape their daughters' lives and helping them to grow up to become healthy women. But the mainstream media won't talk about those men because it does not fit their narrative, where they're looking to elevate a white man's image. And that's what your black feminist is all about, tearing down the image of our best black men and elevating the image of the worst white men in society and telling us that these are what we black women need to aspire to be involved with, instead of going out here and looking for the best brothers to be with to build a strong black family, the same way Richard Williams built a strong black family. And this is a movie that I definitely am going to go out here and check out, because we need more movies like King Richard. We need more images that are positive featuring black men, and we need to see more positive images that present a positive image of black manhood and black masculinity. And when I look at this whole campaign to destroy this film, it just shows me how deep the hatred is in your black feminist, and how, while she talks empowerment, all she is promoting the same old white supremacy that is designed to keep black people in a permanent underclass. And that's why we need to stop listening to these hit pieces, because this propaganda is white supremacist propaganda designed to go out here and to demonize our image and keep us from watching media that would inspire and uplift us and show us people who have gone out here and taken their lives to another level, like King Richard Williams. Now, if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, and my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. And if you want to pick up a series that features a positive image of a heterosexual black man, you can pick up the John Haynes series on Amazon.com, and you can pick up those books that show you a positive image of black manhood, black masculinity, and shows you a strong black man in a strong leadership role, starting with the novel The Temptation of John Haynes, the book The Man Who Rules the World, John Haynes, A Conversation with Death, John Haynes, Dark Succubus, John Haynes, The Man with Nothing to Lose, and John Haynes, Taking Care of Business. And in 2022, I hope to get the first John Haynes comic out, John Haynes at Death's Door, and I hope you'll be there when I launch that Kickstarter. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and Kindle, All About Marilyn. Learn all about the struggles of a faded former teen sitcom star in this absolutely fabulous 5-star screenplay. Get All About Marilyn in paperback and Kindle on Amazon.com today.